ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यभागवतसेवया भागवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Hare Krishna, welcome to this discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are now in Canto 1, Chapter 9. The title of the chapter is Passing Over of Bhishma Deva in the Presence of Krishna. We are in Shloka number 18. So Shloka number 18 to 24 talks about glorification of Lord Krishna by Bhishma Deva. So that is what we will be checking now. We'll be going through. So it has three parts. Krishna is talking shloka number 18 to 20. Bhishmadev glorifies Krishna as Krishna Narayana. And between 21 to 23, he is telling that Krishna is faultless. And shloka number 24 is describing Krishna at the time of his death, at the time of um, Bhishma Dev's death. Okay, so let us go to shloka number 18. Esa vai Bhagavan Sakshat Adyo Narayana Pumam Mohayan Maya Lokam Godascharati Vrishnishu. This Sri Krishna is no other than the inconceivable original personality of God. He is the first Narayana, the supreme enjoyer, but he is moving amongst descendants of King Rishi, just like one of us, and is bewildering us with this self-creator energy. So, yeah, so here, um, Vishmadevi is an authority, and he is speaking about Sri Krishna as original personality of God and first Narayana. So, even such an impersonalist as Acharya Shankara has said in the beginning of his commentation on Bhagavad Gita that Narayana, the personality of God, is beyond the material creation. The universe is one of the material creation, but Narayana is transcendental to such creation. So, and then Prabhupada is talking mainly about Bhishmadev as 12 Mahajans. So, that is something which is put here. And there's one interesting point which Prabhupada makes. And by his external energetic expansion, he incarnates himself in material world amongst the men, animals, or demigods to re-establish his forgotten relationship with living entities in different species of life. Great authorities like Bhishma, however, escape his bewilderment by mercy of Lord. So even if they appear like human being, Krishna is a human being, but even if he appears like a human being, Bhishma Deva is able to identify Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. Okay, so Krishna's form is like a human form, the human form. Then Asyanubhavam Bhagavan Veda Guryatam Shivaha Deva Rishi Narada Shakshat Bhagavan Kapilo Nripa. O King, Lord Shiva, Narada, the sage amongst the demigods, and Kapila, the incarnation of God, all know very confidentially about his glories through direct contact. Pure devotees of Lord are like Buddhas or persons who know the glories of Lord in different transcendental loving services. So, and Kapila is also is one of the great devotees of the Lord. So this devotee which is put here is the Mahajanas. And Prabhupada is mentioning one important point. These glories of the Lord are exhibited in his being subordinated before his devotees. And this is another feature of glories of the Lord. Shukadeva Goswami and Kumaras, although situated in transcendental position, became converted by another feature of Bhava and turned into pure devotees of the Lord. So, in fact, we checked about how Sukadeva Goswami who wanted to leave the house of Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva wanted to do not want Sukadeva Goswami to leave his home, so he started reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam. And hearing that, Sukadeva stayed in the home and learned Srimad Bhagavatam from Vyasadeva. So it's interesting here. Let us go to the next shloka. Yam manyase मातुर्या प्रियं मित्रं सुहृतमम् अकरो सचिवं दूतं सौहृदात् अथ सारथिम्. O king, that personality whom, out of ignorance only you thought to be the maternal cousin, your very dear friend, well-wisher, counselor, messenger, benefactor, etc., is that very personality of God at Sri Krishna. So, Bhishmadev is pointing out to Yudhishthir Maharaj that it is Krishna who was um, desired uh, for Yudhishthir to become the emperor of the world. So he is the supreme personality of Godhead, and it becomes important for us to fulfill his desire. So Lord Shri Krishna, although acting as a cousin, brother, friend, well-wisher, counselor, messenger, benefactor, etc., of the Pandavas, was still the supreme personality of God. Out of his costless mercy and favor upon his unallowed devotee, he performed all kinds of services. But that does not mean he has changed his position as the absolute person. To think of him as an ordinary man is the grossest type of ignorance. Then Sarvatmana Samadrisho hi Advaya Aham Ahamkrite Tatkratam Mati Vaishamyam Nirvadyasya Nakvachet. So being the absolute personality of God, he is present in everyone's heart. He is equally kind to everyone and he is free from false ego of differentiation. Therefore, whatever he does is free from material inevitability. He is equibalanced. So now, if you see we are right now in sloka number 21 to 23, which tells why Krishna is faultless. So let's see that. So he is free from false ego of differentiation, and he is equally kind to everyone. So first one is this is the reason why it is he is free from material inability. Okay, so let us see the next reason. तथापि एकान्तभक्तेषु पश्य भूपानुकम्पितं यन्मे असंस्याचत साक्षात् कृष्णो darshanam आगतः. Yet, despite his being equally kind to everyone, he has graciously come before me while I am ending my life, for I am his unflinching servitor. So, Lord, though he is, doesn't have any partiality, he still comes in no, for fulfilling the desire of his servitors, his devotees. So that is the second reason. Let us go to the see the next reason. भक्त्यावेशमनो यस्मिन् वाचाय नाम कीर्तयन् त्यागन् कलेव योगी Muchyate kama karmi bihi. Obvious, the mind of a devotee with attentive devotion and meditation with chanting of the whole name releases the devotee from bondage of fruitive activities at the time of his quitting the body. So, so first reason is he is free from false ego, and he is free from false ego. Second is that he is ready to be available in front of his devotees. Third one, he releases the devotee from bondage of fruitive activities. So if somebody is there who can release someone from bondage of material, how he can be bound, and it is not possible for someone to release one from karma unless or otherwise he is the supreme personality of God, equally kind to everyone. Yeah, equally kind, free from false ego. He is ready to do anything for his devotee. Fourth one is by just by chanting his holy name, we get delivered from all the bondages of birth and death. Okay, let us go to the next shloka, shloka number 24. Sadeva Devo Bhagavan Pratikshatam Kalevaram Yaval Idam Inomiham Prasanna As Aruna Lochanolasam Mukam Jadhyana Pataschaturpujaha. This is all very beautiful. So Saha he Deva Deva. Deva Deva means he is Lord of Lords. Bhagavan. Bhagavan means Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pratikshatam. May kindly wait. He will be is ready to wait. Who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead is ready to wait. Kalevaram. Body Yavad Idam. Today, this material body, me make it aham I. So So he is now Vishwadev is going to quit this body, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is available. How is he looking? Prasanna, he is cheerful. Asa means smiling. Aruna means red. Lochana means eyes. Eyes like the morning sun. Morning sun is deep red in color, so his eyes are red in color. Ullasat, beautifully decorated. Lochana Ullasan. Mukambuja. Mukambuja means it is the face which is like Ambuja. Ambuja means lotus flower. So face is like lotus. Dhyana. Dhyana, the path of my meditation. Chaturbujaha, the four-handed form of Narayana. So Aruna Lochana, beautifully decorated. Mukambuja, face is beautifully decorated. And he is appearing the path of Bhishmade's meditation, who is about to leave his body. May my Lord, who is four-handed and whose beautifully decorated lotus face with eyes as red as rising sun is smiling, kindly await me at the moment when I quit this material body. So this is a special prayer which Bhishma Deva is doing. So in this verse, Bhishma Deva breaks the secret that Krishna, Supreme Kala, is no one but Lord Shri Krishna, who is in front of him. But if he goes, if you go ask him, that is, if you ask him, he will only smile. He will not reveal his plan. That is what Vishwadev is meaning. And he will unfold it in a natural way. The only thing we can do is just follow him. So even if he tells you, you will not be able to. So Vishwadev is trying to tell Krishna, Yudhishthir Maharaj, that even if Krishna is trying to explain him what is going to unfold, Yudhishthira may not be able to digest it. So it is better for us to just follow. And Krishna and Vishwadeva is also telling that he is not a cheater, he is a mystical person. So even the great demigods and sages will get bewildered if we try to understand, as it is told in the first shloka of Srimad Bhagavatam, Muryanti Kavayopi, even the greatest of demigods, Lord Brahma, will get bewildered by it. So, to understand more and more about him, we only have to surrender to him. This surrender will only purify us, like he did with Bali Maharaj. How do we do that? We do it in the 9 ways of bhakti. So, he's telling dhyana, smarana, and chanting, and also chant his holy name. So, Lord beating and patting, as far as Lord is concerned, sometimes he beats us, sometimes he pats us. But since Lord is absolute, it is same for us. We need to accept it and go ahead with our sadhana. The Bhishma is emphasizing one point that absorbing calamities, um, we should absorb the calamities and respond to them in a positive way. Think that we are part of Krishna's larger plan. There is one interesting shloka in Canto 11. Etam sa astaya paratmanishtam adhyasitam purvatme maharishibhihi aham tarishyami duranta param tamo mukundangri niseva yaiva. So what does it mean? I shall cross over the insurmountable ocean of nescience by being firmly fixed in the service of lotus feet of Krishna. This was approved by previous acharyas who were fixed in firm devotion to the Lord, Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of God. So this is from the song of Avanti Brahmana. This says that I shall cross over insurmountable ocean of nescience by just being firmly fixed in service of Krishna. So, and is this something which is concoction? No, it is something which is proven by, which is approved by previous acharya who also followed the same path, which is firm devotion to Krishna. And they say very specifically, Nisheva, the one who is in their art, Duranta Par, is firm devotion to Lord Paramatma, Supreme Personality of God, Lotus feet of Mukundangri, devotion of Supreme Personality of God. So, this is about the Avanti Brahmana who was a rich man, but he became pauper. He was thrown out by his relatives. People were passing foul air on his face, they were passing urine on his foot, but he tolerated it all. He gives the reason. He quotes this verse and says that he will take shelter of Mukunda's lotus feet and cross over the material ocean. He says that if he protests in the material world, he will create enmity. Hence, he has to come back to this material world. So this was very much liked. This attitude is very much liked by Lord Chaitanya. We come to this world empty-handed, and we also go empty-handed. So why we have to worry about what we are going to hold in our hands? Nothing. So karmis, demigods, pure devotees are all subjected to Kala in different ways by Supreme Personality of God. They also decode Kala in a different way. When karmis suffer, they say this, if we have done this work, maybe the suffering would have come be lesser, or we would have come out of suffering faster. And karmis criticize others for their suffering. Demigods also suffer kala when they become complacent. Lord Vishnu makes demons stronger and give trouble to demigods. So Vishnu only arranges the demons. then they become very serious. Who becomes serious? No, demigods become serious. With pure devotees, Krishna is directly the God, directly the time. So here we see Yudhishthir Maharaj are put into very many difficult. The Pandavas were put in different troubles. This was to enact pastimes for the benefit of the whole world. So Kala Krishna um, form as Kala defeats Karmis like cloud being pushed by strong wind. With devotees, no, devotees just surrender to Lord's plan, and as Lord desires, they enact that Lord's plan, even if it is inconceivable, insurmountable. If it is coming from the right authority, they just accept it as the unseen hand of the Lord. So, so we have to, in our previous class, we said that whenever there are problems, we need to stick to only three things: Vipra, then Shastra, and Achyuta. Vipra, Shastra, Achyuta. Vipra in our case is Srila Prabhupada and our spiritual master. Shastra is all the books written by Srila Prabhupada. Achyuta is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in his munificent incarnation, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So these are some important things why we have to be why we should understand why we should understand Krishna only in terms of what Prabhupada gave us. Prabhupada gave us everything. So we need to understand everything in the way Prabhupada has put in his book. He knows what is good for us. Therefore, we should just stick to what he has given to us. Then we need to understand why we should have unflinching faith on Krishna. Krishna gives us so much troubles. Um, why we should have unflinching faith? Why Vishnu Devi is having unflinching faith in Krishna? Though Krishna was responsible for he being in this current condition, he is in the arrow bed. Why Vishnu Dev should have unflinching faith on Krishna? Krishna is Bhaktavatsala. So that is most important thing. So Srila Prabhupada emphasizes Bhishma Dev's deep devotion to Lord Krishna in these prayers that we saw now in the shlokas between 18 to 24. There is a deep there is a deep devotion of Bhishma Dev. So despite his physical pain, Bhishma Dev's mind is fixed on Krishna. This demonstrates the power of unwavering devotion. And this devotion has helped him to tolerate the bodily suffering and able to focus on Krishna or remain in Krishna consciousness. And that too, now he's going to pass away. So at the time of death, he is just remembering Krishna. So then we see that he's lying on the battlefield awaiting death and is fully absorbed in Krishna's thought. This state of constant remembrance of Krishna, even amongst the suffering, is the perfection of life. And this is the ultimate goal of devotees. So, in all these slokas, he is telling that Krishna is Bhaktavatsala. He has come, especially the one is I am my unflinching servant. He has graciously come before me because he is Bhaktavatsala. And one more important thing that we need to understand in this shloka is that Srila Prabhupada describes Bhishma Deva, how Bhishma Deva, even when he is lying in the deathbed and on the bed of arrows, he is able to focus on Krishna. So one reason is because he is Mahajana. He is one of the principal authorities of Shastras. This highlights this power of devotion, and this also highlights the importance of remembering Krishna. That is one part. Another part is that that Bhishma Deva is a most important devotee of Krishna. Now, let us go to the shloka which we saw. So, Prasanna Asarna Lochana Ullasa. So, this is a very beautiful description of Supreme Personality of God. So, he is now meditating on Supreme Personality of God. So, Prasanna Hasa, Arna Lochana, Ullasa, Mukamboja. Mukamboja means his eyes are like lotus flowers, and Aruna Lochana means is referring to his eyes, Mukamboja. So actually, Lord's eyes are extending till his ears. So the lotus petals are very big, very big. Eyes are like lotus petals means they are extending till ears. And it is also the Lord's face is having color of a lotus flower. There is one interesting shloka in third canto. So this is a very beautiful shloka. Brahma's prayers for creative energy. Tanbhakti yoga paribhavat pavita hrit saroja asesha hritekshita pato nata pumsam yat diyata urukaya vibhavayanti tattat papupanayase sat anugrahaya. O my Lord, your devotees can see you through the years by process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed, and you take your seat there. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest in a particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. So, what is the so Brahma? This is Brahma's prayers of Lord. So Brahma is telling to Lord, "Oh Lord, your devotees can see you through here's the process of bona fide hearing." And actually, for us, the most important thing is, or in this case, in case of when we are checking the shloka number 24, then 1.9.24, we see that they manifest, Lord manifests in a particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of Krishna. So here, one interesting thing is Shruta Ikshita, seen through the ear. This means that we get attracted to the hearing about the Lord, and hence we start seeing in that way. So the birds always like to be in the nest. They always like the same way we like to hear about the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. Once our ears are habituated to this process, this results in attachment to Lord, and subsequently we will also get the vision about the Lord. So in this way, we will develop a attachment to one form of the Lord, which we would like to see in the spiritual world. So this could be Radha Madhav, Gandharvika Giridhari, or Vishnu, or Ramachandra, Sitaram. He will give us that vision. So for Bhishma, it is a four-handed form, which is a Dashya form. For Arjuna, it is a two-handed form. So it is for Arjuna, the rasa is Vishramba Shakya, friendship with respect. And cowherd boys in Vrindavan are Shakya, but they are in much more closer, but that Shakya rasa is much more intimate. In case of Duryodhana, we see that he was untouched by good association of Yudhishthira, Bhishma, Vidura, rishis like Narada, Markandeya, who used to visit Hastinapur, court of Hastinapur. So Duryodhana could not become Krishna conscious. This means that even if there is a good association available, we can remain untouched by it. So this is like water poured on stone. So water which is poured on stone can never absorb it. So we also see other examples who become imbued with devotional samadhi. In as we go through the Srimad Bhagavatam, we will come across many beautiful devotees who will be talking about no, their devotional attitude, and we can see how their heart is imbued with devotion. So Bhishma Deva is now lying down in the middle of the battlefield and is watching Krishna and composing his prayers. So we can see how strong this Krishna consciousness is. Okay, so now I'm skipping to the next important part, which is um, so so Bhishma Deva is instructing Yudhishthir Maharaj between 25 to 28. And between 29 to 31, there is the movement of Bhishma Deva is talking about this is more description of final moment of Bhishma Deva. So now uh, we will go into the much more interesting topic, which is shloka number 32 to 43, which is Bhishma's prayers to Lord. Um, and today I'd like to complete this chapter. Then we can get into the next chapter, which is chapter number 10. Shri Bhishma Vacha iti Matir Upakalpita Vitarshana Bhagavati Satvata Pungave Vibhumni Swasukam Upagate Kvachit Vihartum Prakartim Upeyusi Yad Bhava Pravaha. So Bhishma Deva is saying, let me now invest my thinking, feeling, and willing, which were so long engaged in different subjects and occupational duties in the all-powerful Lord Krishna. He is always self-satisfied, but sometimes, being the leader of devotees, he enjoys transcendental pleasure by descending to material world, although from him only the material world is created. So, in this, Prabhupada is mentioning one important thing, which is Bhishma Deva, after imparting his final teaching uh, to Yudhishthira, is meditating on Lord Krishna. So he merged his mind and consciousness with Krishna, and he will be leaving his body. So this demonstrates the supreme importance of focusing one's mind on Krishna at the time of death. In this, Bhishma is in this verse, Bhishma is telling all anchoring for material desires are to be stopped. He's saying that he he wants the attachment, but he already has the attachment, and that is why he is able to offer such a nice prayer. He wants attachment to Krishna, and we see that he already has that attachment. So he's saying, okay, so that is why he is able to offer such a nice prayer. So Bhishma Deva is constantly thinking of how Lord protects his devotees, like his highlights, like the highlights protect the highs. So, and Bhishma Deva is so fortunate because he's seeing the Lord, in front of him. Whereas Bhishma Deva, actually, this is very nice point. here. If you see here this, if you see here, Lord is rushing towards Bhishma Dev, and Bhishma Dev is able to see Lord from the front. So, whereas Arjuna is seeing the Lord from his behind. So, in this commentary, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura is telling that this is a fortunate position of Bhishma, because he is able to see Lord in his violent form, whereas Arjuna is able to see only the back of it. This was because Lord was driving the chariot, and this situation where Lord picks up the chakra of the wheel of the chariot. This is more pleasing to Bhishma because he was in a Virya Rasa. Virya Rasa means in a warrior. He wanted to see Krishna as warrior. So when war started, Bhishma they poured thousands of arrows at Arjuna, and Arjuna could not cope up with that. In one of the lectures, Srila Prabhupada says that Bhishma was like 25,000 Arjunas put together. So Arjuna could not face Bhishma. This means unless Bhishma wants to get defeated, Arjuna cannot defeat Bhishma. So Bhishma sent so many arrows to see interesting pastimes of the Lord. Arjuna is unable to shoot arrows to counter the arrows of Bhishma. His horses were killed, his chariot was broken. At this time, Lord, in order to protect Arjuna, jumps down from the chariot and picks up the wheel of the chariot and attacks Bhishma. This time, Bhishma is so happy, he is ready to give up his life, in the hands of Krishna. So we can see that the open end gesture of Bhishma Dev. Uh, Here we see the inconceivable potency of Lord. He has taken the chariot wheel, and this chariot wheel, so you can see the chariot wheel, and this chariot wheel resembles the weapon of Lord, which is Sudarshan Chakra, and he is attacking Bhishma. Bhishma is happy to give up his life in the hands of Lord, but Arjuna, um, both Arjuna, no, but Arjuna is trying to stop Krishna because Arjuna did not want Krishna to give up his promise that he would not fight in the war. So are both Arjuna and Bhishma are satisfied by the Lord. Krishna is covered, is satisfied by the Lord because Arjuna knows Krishna has taken up this chariot wheel only to protect Arjuna from the attack of Bhishma. And Bhishma is satisfied because Bhishma wanted to see Lord in a warrior form. So both Arjuna and Bhishma are satisfied by the Lord. Krishna is, if you see here, Krishna is covered with the dust from the battlefield. So you can see his face is having a lot of dust. There are marks of blood on his body. So, and his upper cloth, as is moved away, is in the mudra of fighting, which signifies that you cannot approach or encounter or kill Arjuna without crossing without crossing Supreme Personality of Lord Krishna. Okay, so let us go to shloka number 33. We will constantly come to this shloka, come to this page. Tribhuvana Tamalavarnam Ravikaragauravarambara Dadane Vapuralaka Kulavarta Ananbajam Vijaya Shake Ratir Astu Me Anavadya. So Sri Krishna is the ultimate friend of Arjuna. He has appeared on this earth, transcendental body, which resembles the color of Tamala tree. His body attracts everyone in the three planetary system, upper, middle, and lower. May his glittering yellow dress and his lotus face, covered with paintings of sandalwood pulp, be the object of my attraction, and may I not desire fruitive activities. So here we can see that um, Krishna's beautiful form is being described by Bhishma Dev. So, in the purport of this shloka, Srila Prabhupada emphasizes that Bhishma Dev's departure from the world, um, while Bhishma is fully absorbed in thought of Krishna. So, this is an example of perfect devotion. It illustrates that Krishna, remembering Krishna at the time of death, ensures liberation and entry into the spiritual realm. So Vishwadev is taking. So if you see this, every shloka, Tamala Varnam, bluish like Tamala tree, Ravi Kara, sun rays, Gaura, golden color, Varambram, glittering dress, Dadane, one who wears purple body, Alaka Kula Avarta, covered with paintings of sandalwood pearl, Anan Abjab, face like lotus, Vijaya Shake, unto the friend of Arjuna, Rati Astu, may attraction be reposed upon him my anavadya without desire of fruity results. So Vishwadeva is thinking about the form of Krishna. Let's go to shloka number 34. Yadi Yadi Turaga Rajo Vidumra Vishwa Kacha Lita Shama Vari Alankatasye Mama Nishita Sharai Vividyamana Tvachi Vilasat Kvase Astu Krishnatma. On the battlefield where Sri Krishna attended Arjuna of friendship, the flowing hair of Lord Krishna turned ashen due to the dust raised by the hooves of horses, and because of his labor, beads of sweat wetted his face. All these decorations, intensified by wounds dealt by my sharp arrows, were enjoyed by him. Let my mind thus go unto Sri Krishna. So we can see here that there are arrows on it, his face is covered, hair is covered with dust, and he is so this is the complete description. This is the complete description about um, so hair of Krishna is has turned into action because of the dust raised by the hooves of the horses, and then Uh, and he's picking the chariot wheel and running towards Bhishma Deva. Because he's doing this, there is a sweat on his face, and there are wounds on his body. There are wounds on his body, and these wounds were hit by sharp arrows of Bhishma Deva. So Bhishma Deva is remembering this form of Lord. Okay, so let us now look into the go to the next shloka 35. One point is there here. There is one point on which we should Yeah. So the spirit is never pierced. So this is the Kshatriya spirit of Supreme Personality of God. It appears that uh, Bhishma Deva is repenting on the actions he committed against person of the Lord because he is piercing his body with arrows. But factually, Lord's body was not pained due to his transcendental existence. His body is not matter. Both he himself and his body are completely spiritual identity. Spirit is never pierced, burnt, dried, moistened, etc. This is vividly explained in Bhagavad Gita. So also it is stated in Skanda Purana. It is said here the spirit is always uncontaminated and indestructible. It cannot be distressed, nor can it be dried. When Lord Vishnu in his incarnation appears before us, he seems to be like one of the conditions or materially incarnate, just to bewilder the souls or non-believers who are always alert to kill the Lord, even from the very beginning of his appearance. Kamsa wanted to kill Krishna and Ravana wanted to kill Rama because foolishly they were unaware of the fact Lord is never killed, for the spirit is never annihilated. That is one important point which, yeah. So this is all. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura, a great acharya and devotee in the humor of conjugal love with Lord, remarks very saliently in this regard. He says the wounds created on the body of the Lord by sharpened arrows of Bhishma Deva were as pleasing to the Lord as biting of a fiancé who bites the Lord's body directed by a strong sense of sex desire. Such biting by opposite sex is never taken as a sign of enmity, even if there is a wound on the body. Therefore, the fighting exchange of transcendental pressure between the Lord and his pure devotee were not at all mundane. So this spirit which Bhishma Deva has shown is the real Kshatriya spirit. So Kshatriya is like a weapon and blood. Kshatriya gets more strength when he sees the blood. So Krishna thus wanted to give Bhishma the full satisfaction of fighting the war. So there is a blood drops on Lord's body. This is reciprocation. So there is a complete cutoff of Lord and Vishwadev from the rest of the battlefield. So this is a perfect samadhi situation. This means that all these years from the time from the time his father passed away, that is Pandu passed away, Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana, and Asatsabha, all these places, Arjuna has passed through all this and passed through every day for a long time. However, he remained perfectly aloof, and Bhishma Dev always remained perfectly aloof from all these situations. That is, Pandu passing away, Dhritarashtra becoming the king, and then Duryodhana trying to become the king, and then he tolerated the unlawful gambling match and the disrobing of Draupadi. He remained aloof from all this and he was always meditating. Vishnudeva was always meditating on Krishna. And now the thing has come. The battlefield there, he was able to hurt Krishna and he was able to see blood drops on his body. So, this was a perfect battlefield situation, perfect Virya Rasa pastime, and Bhishma Deva is remembering it in his deathbed now. This is quite contrast the mood of any non-devotee. So a non-devotee cannot think of Krishna at the time of death. So in the association of devotees, we should be like sponge, and in association of non-devotees, we should be like stone. Duryodhana, being a non-devotee, though he was always in association of devotees, he never picked up. Whereas Bhishma Deva was a devotee among non-devotees, so he picked up. the characteristic of how a devotee should remain in presence of a bad association. So he was remained as a stone, and whenever he was with Vidura Pandavas, he became sponge and tried to take their association. So we should focus on Krishna Katha and be like a sponge at that time and be stone where there is a Prajalpa. So Prajalpa of Kauravas disappeared and Krishna Katha remained in mind of Bhishma Deva. And we can see that in the same way, there is one more devotee by name Akrura, who was always amidst of Kamsa and his demoniac associates. But as soon as he enters Vrindavana, he is thinking of lotus feet on the face of Lord Krishna and Balarama. He wanted to see how the boys are milking the cows, how they are taking the cows for grazing in the pastures. When will he's always meditating when he will see the Lord face to face. He thinks of himself as a great sinner because he's going to take these two boys to Lord to Kamsa for being killed. He also thinks, you know, he also thinks that will Krishna misunderstand Akrura that staying amidst of non-devotees and taking their bad association, he's organizing this situation to kill. He is going to take Balarama and Krishna to Kamsa to kill them. But then Krishna is Antaryami. He knows in the heart what is in the heart of Akrura. So Akrura thinks that Krishna will not reject him. In fact, he will embrace Akrura. He thinks that Krishna will embrace him when Akrura will meet him in Vrindavan. So he is now earning. Akrura actually is thinking when the moment will come when Krishna will embrace him and all his sinful reactions will get destroyed. So this is the Manoratha of Krura. We all travel in the chariot of our mind. And we chant, our mind takes us away from Krishna. So that is a Manoratha. But we see the devotees, they also are in Manoratha. But then Manoratha is focused on Leela. So this is called as Leela Samadhi. We also have the chariot of mind, but we make different imagination. But here we see that both Akrura and Bhishma are focused on Krishna. So Bhishma is now asking Krishna, do you sometimes tell lies? Krishna says, no, I am the Param Satya, I am the absolute truth. Then why did you take the weapon and broke the vow? Actually, so if you see this, there is an interesting dialogue which is going on between them in the Virya Rasa. So if you listen to the commentaries, if you read the commentaries of other acharyas, they say that Bhishma is asking Krishna, do you sometimes tell lies? Krishna says, no, I am the absolute truth. I am the Param Satya. Then Bhishma is asking, then why did you take weapon and broke the vow of not taking the weapon? For this, Krishna says that you made the vow of killing Arjuna or Krishna, Arjuna, um, or Krishna has to take the weapon to protect him. So this vow you made is on the basis of. So Krishna is telling to Bhishma Deva that this vow that you have done is on the basis of your brahmacharya. So I am taking this weapon of chariot wheel to protect your vow, and that means to protect your vow, Bhishmadev's vow. Krishna has taken the decision to break his vow. So Krishna, for Krishna, the devotees' interests are the first. That is why he is Bhaktavatsala. So Krishna made the passing away of Bhishma Deva very blissful. So in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, there were different types of warriors. One saw him, Krishna, with envy. So they went to Brahmachoti. So some saw him as master and they went to Vaikunta. And those who saw him as a friend, they went to Goloka. So based on the emotions, we can clearly see that Bhishma Deva was in Dasya Rasa, especially when he's talking about the Agra Puja. He's actually will be talking about Agra Puja. So in Vaikunta, Brahma, Shiva always want Lord to be more beautiful than Lakshmi Mata. So Vishnu displays his greatness and devotees admire his greatness. This is their mood. So Lord does not disturb this mood. But in Goloka, it is opposite. Raghunatha Goswami tells us that Lord stands under Govardhana hill and calls him. He will not go there because he is a trickster. He tricked Prahlad Maharaj, he tricked Bali Maharaj, he tricked gopis in Rasa dance. But if Radha and Krishna are standing, and even if they don't call Raghunath Goswami, he will go because when Radha is there, she will engage Krishna, engage Raghunath Goswami in Krishna's service. And this is definitely will be a good opportunity to serve him. Hence, Raghunath Goswami will do the service. That way, Radharani is more merciful. She won't kick away. And so this is the explanation of Acharyas. So now Krishna has promised to take the vow of not taking the weapon, but he has tricked and he has taken the weapon. Therefore, now it is always better to take shelter instead of directly approaching Krishna. It is better for us to take shelter of a devotee. That will give us better opportunity to serve Krishna. Krishna will be ready to take our service when we go through the association of devotee. Okay, so now in let us this. I think I need to spend one more class on this. Let us complete the entire prayer, which is 32 to 43. Right now we are in 35, 34. Okay, let us do 35. सपदि शाकी वचो निशम्य मध्ये निज परायोर्बलयोरतं निवेश्य स्थितवती पर सैनिकयोरक्षना अर्थावती पार्थ शकेरतिर्ममस्तु. In obedience to the command of his friend Lord, Shri Krishna entered the arena of battlefield of Kurukshetra between the soldiers of Arjuna and Duryodhana, and while there he shortened the lifespan of opposite party by his merciful glance. This was done simply by looking at the enemy. Let my mind be fixed upon that Krishna. So this is purely glorification of Krishna. How Srila, how Vishwadev wanted to look at the enemies. So Srila Prabhupada in this purport emphasizes Bhishmadev, uh, despite of his exalted position, was very humble and always eager to hear about Krishna. This is a very good example of a proper attitude for spiritual advancement, where one remains submissive and receptive to divine teachings. So this will help us in attaining the spiritual destination. Vyavahita pratanamukam Vyavahit pratanamukam nirikshya स्वजनं वदात् विमुखस्य दोषबुद्धया कुमतिम् अहरत् आत्मविद्यया यश्चरणारति परमस्य तस्य मे अस्तु. When Arjuna was seemingly polluted by ignorance upon observing soldiers and commanders before him on the battlefield, the Lord eradicated his ignorance by delivering the transcendental knowledge. May his lotus feet always remain the object of my attraction. So Vishnudeva is here talking about the Bhagavad Gita, which was told by was delivered to conditioned soul of the world to deliver them among from the wrong consumption of identifying with the body, with soul, and to establish soul's eternal relationship with Supreme. Atma Vidya, or transcendental knowledge of himself, was primarily spoken by Lord for the benefit of all concerned in all part of the universe. Go to Shloka number 31. स्वनिगमम् अपाय मत्प्रतिज्ञां ऋतम् अधिकर्तुम् अवप्लुतो रतास्तः धृतारतचरण अभ्यासचलाद्गुरु अरे इव अन्तुम् इबं गतो तरीया. That's like leaving aside the covering book. Fulfilling my vow and sacrificing his own promise, he got down from the chariot, took up the wheel, ran towards me hurriedly, just like a lion goes to kill the elephant. He even dropped his outer garment on his feet. We talked about the entire discussion. So, entire pastime of Krishna lifting the chariot wheel. Let us go to shloka number 38. Sita Vishika Hato Vishirna Damsha Shatakja Paripluta Atatahino Me Prasavam Avishashada Mat Padartam Swabhavatu Me Bhagavan Gatir Mukunda. May He, Lord Shri Krishna, the personality of God who awards salvation, be my ultimate destination on the battlefield. He charged me as if angry because of the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows. He shielded his shield was scattered and his body was smeared with blood due to the wounds. This also we discussed during our the entire set of slokas. Then Vijayarata Kutumba Ato Totare Yataya Rasmini Tat Charik Shayani Shaniye Bhagavati Ratit Astu Me Mumurshalo Yam Iha Irikshaya Atagata Sarupam. At the moment of that, let me ultimate attraction to be to Shri Krishna, the personality of God. I concentrate my mind upon the chariot driver of Arjuna, who stood with the whip in his right hand and bridle rope in his left, who was very careful to give protection to Arjuna's chariot by all means. Those who saw him on this battlefield of Kurukshetra attained their original forms after death. So this is the form which was seen by Lord Bhishma, by Bhishma Deva, and Arjuna was only seeing the backside of Krishna, whereas Bhishma Deva was seeing the front side. And that form of Krishna is Parthasarathi form. So I think we will stop here. I don't want to rush. It doesn't. It's not okay. Um, and we will continue from shloka number. I think we'll continue from shloka number 39 in our next discussion. Thank you very much. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhayavacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय घोर भक्तम हरे कृष्ण हरे